You want some companionship?
Yes, but at what rate and expense is that comfort? You just rather be comfortable with this person that you don't love when you could be out there with your soulmate, looking for your soulmate, spending time with your soulmate, traveling the world, just because that vagina or penis or whatever that person has is comfortable.
I'm not a relationship expert, so I don't know.
Well, we know you're not, but I'm just saying, would you be in a situationship? Like, would you stay with a girl for 10 years, 15 years, just to be with her? Never married. You're not married. You don't have any assets together. Anything. Nothing. What is the point of that? You're wasting time.
I think the point of it is like you still having some sort of relationship.
Oh,
interaction
you'd rather
with
not
somebody.
be alone?
Well, no, it's not that. It's that. I mean, you could argue that about a lot of things. Like if I get a dog, dogs live what, an average of 10 years? So do you want to say, well, a dog only lives 10 years?
That is not the same thing.
It's the same thing in that.
That dog's not going to cheat on you. That dog, you already know that dog doesn't have a job to support itself. You already know that dog can't get up and go and get a job. You already know that dog is not going to disappoint you. You know that dog, when that dog, even I'm not an animal person, and even I know that when you get home, if you had a bad day, that dog will know it. When you get home, you've had a bad day, that dog's going to help you have a better day. And yes, losing a dog is just like losing a person in your life, a friend, some people say a child, because some people's dogs are their children, right? So you can't compare you being with a girl or a guy or whatever for 10 years to having a dog for 10 years, because it's not the same thing.
Maybe the situationship is set up in such a way where it does give me some comfort, somebody to talk to, somebody to grow with, but it just...
But you're not growing, because that's why it's a situationship. If you were growing, you were comfortable and talking, and you were growing, it'd be a relationship.
It'd be a relationship, okay.
What about someone who has had trouble finding anybody, and then finally has somebody? They might not be a good, essentially settling. They might not be a good somebody, but hey, I've been alone, hypothetically, I've been alone for 20 something years. I finally have somebody, and they're going to latch onto whatever they have, even if it could just be simply a toxic relationship. You might want to categorize that separately, depending. But people are in that kind of situation. Mind you, I would say they are better off looking for their soulmate, but there are people in that situation.
Well, if you believe it's soulmate.
And that's because they're settling. Right?
Yeah.
I feel, okay, if you believe in a relationship, you should believe in soulmates, right? Because especially at some of our ages, we are not dating just to date. Like, are you going to get in a long-term relationship with any intention of not marrying this person or being with this person? You're not that young, brother.
Well, there could be a lot of reasons to get into a relationship. It could be companionship. It could be somebody to go to the movies with. We don't necessarily have to stay together forever. It could be like, hey, let's.
So you're okay with settling?
No, not settling. I'm okay with having temporary relationships, situationships.
You want a situationship. You don't want a relationship. That's as simple as that's what I've been saying. So thank you very much.
But is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a terrible thing because
Why?
Okay, I'm just going to put your business out there. Because of a person of your caliber, what you've done, what you've reached, how hard you've worked, the assets you've acquired, this, that, and that, you should be looking for a life partner to build with. Not someone to suck you dry like a vampire, or not someone to keep you warm at night, and I'm not talking about your bed.
Right, but we're both getting an exchange. I'm getting something out of it. They're getting something out of it. It's not necessarily.
So
like
again,
if they were sucking me dry, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be like, I don't want any type of situationship or relationship.
Right? But so you're okay with settling? You're okay with settling?
I feel like settling means.
Are you talking about financially sucking you dry?
Settling. I don't think I would let anybody financially or anyway suck me dry.
Well,
Maybe.
Makes a difference.
But okay, I'm saying that situationships are not that bad. I don't think. From what you say.
So, some of you said earlier, I'm going to say this. Do not judge me. I have not been on a legitimate date in 21 years next month. That's a long fucking time.
Define legitimate.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
You know who I am.
What's an illegitimate date?
They don't.
So I have a lot of straight friends that I like to go on dates with. Now, some of these dates are just man dates, where I would go on a man date with him, or John from around the corner might be a date. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So, and most of the time, if they're straight guys or they're like whatever situation is, that's not going anywhere. So I don't count that as a real date. But a romantic date, I have not been on. It'll be 21 years next month.
Who paid for the meal?
I haven't been in a relationship. Oh, the first one? I don't remember. I remember where it was, but I don't remember.
So if you and I go out on a date, okay, we're going to dinner. You paid for
As
my
us,
meal.
or you mean in general?
All right,
Like,
forget it. You understand? I mean, we have history. I feel like it's
right. That's what I'm saying. So
like,
ours don't count.
But again, like, if somebody else is paying for your meal, why isn't it a date? They took you out. Why isn't it a date?
Because think about it. When I go with a lot of my friends, because we know people at places, that's already going to get paid for.
But that's a
if the
friend.
restaurant's not paid
No.
Exactly.
Stop being bougie. You know people,
I'm saying.
So, like, that's a different ballgame.
That's what I'm saying. I have not been on a romantic date, whether I paid or he paid.
Romantic date is the main thing. Romantic.
A romantic date.
Like, at the end of the day,
so
we're not just going out for a meal.
That's friends.
We're going past the point of a meal.
21 years.
No, you've told me that you've had
One-night stands don't count.
You've had romantic interactions.
One-night stands don't count.
Relations.
But
I've not
then,
had
see,
a
now
date.
you're putting all these stipulations to a date.
That's the whole
date
point.
doesn't equal a romantic
What is a
date.
legitimate date?
Yeah, I've not been on a legitimate date.
What equals legitimate date?
A legitimate date is I see a guy, I know a guy, he likes me, I like him. Let's go out on a date and see where this goes.
Okay, all right.
That's
why haven't you been on a legitimate date?
I don't know. I mean,
He's a little high maintenance.
part of it is I like the straight boys, so you can't really say you're going on a date with them because usually that's not a date that's inside.
Do you feel like that's like a
challenge? No,
not a challenge, but like a wall you're putting
No.
up. Like, I'm gonna go for straight guys
I do
because
not.
I want a challenge, and I know it's probably
No.
not gonna happen.
I don't want a
because I'm
challenge.
afraid of getting into
You
relationships.
already had strikes,
really.
remember?
I don't want a challenge. I don't want to change anybody. I don't want to chase anybody. And I'm gonna tell you, I had thought about it for a while. Like, I have a friend who literally, his 30th birthday party, he walks in with this guy. Okay, and because of who this person is, he's not supposed to be quote unquote gay. And I'm like, who's the guy? He was like, oh, that's his boyfriend. I'm like, his boyfriend, like friend, like me. Now, mind you, at this point, I don't know if he's gay. And they're like, no, his boyfriend, like, they're getting engaged. I'm like, wait, what? And this guy, me and the boyfriend, we go outside and we talk. The week before, he was slaying just all in Brazil and this place and that place. And now he's totally on the other side of the team. So that made me realize that I don't have to give up what I want because there are straight men out there who have went to the other side.
I see what you're right.
Would I want him to go completely other side?
So
No,
you,
not
if
really.
you like
I
somebody,
everybody.
you don't take in consideration they're straight, they're gay.
No, if I
this
like
person,
you, I like you. I'm going
I got
for
you.
it.
Okay. But then that has also caused you not to have a serious.
Legitimate. Absolutely, you're right. Yeah.
But where does situationships come into play on this? Because there's one thing that's a
there's someone in
date,
here in this room
there's
that's in a situationship. It's not me.
So you don't want to get into situationships.
I don't want to be in a situationship, and I think they are too common. I think people settle too quickly. I think people stay in relationships they shouldn't stay in.
Absolutely.
One of my good friends, he was with this guy forever because he was comfortable.
Don't you feel like it's like practice though? If I'm getting into situationships with people, maybe I am looking for
I
my
think it's a
soulmate.
waste of time.
But maybe I need to practice.
So then you're
I need
a
to practice
cheater.
a lot. How am I a cheater?
Because
I'm
if
not with
if
my
you're a gay
soulmate
guy, you're
right now.
practicing with him, but you meet Justin. Hello, are you gonna go out and
Well,
dance while you're still
if
with
Justin's
Scott?
like my soulmate, and I'm like, Scott, I gotta tell you.
But are you going to end it with Scott before you go out with Justin? No.
If
I
I'm
hope so,
like,
or you're not
if
getting
I'm
it.
like, Justin's my soulmate, I gotta break it up with you, Scott. Then that's.
Are you going to do that though? Are most men going to do that? Whether you're gay, straight, indifferent, confused, are you going to do that? No. You're going to go test the waters. You're going to think the water's greener and the grass is greener on the other side, and then you're going to walk into a pile of shit too. I mean, as simple as that.
Right.
We see it happen all the time.
I mean, well, that's
And
kind
more,
of
we're
like
seeing
all
it-
of society, right? That right now we have so many options. People could go online and just swipe right, swipe left.
And we're more seeing the girl. Like, no offense, you girls have taken over. Like,
I'm sorry.
I'm used to the guys. I walk in a place.
What do you mean by us
I'm
taking
about
over?
to say
Come
it. I walk into a place and I see one of my guys with another girl. That doesn't strike me as odd because guys are guys, right? They're I gotta blah blah blah. But these girls are like getting even now, and they're bold with it. See, girls used to cheat back in the day. You would never know it. Have a whole man living next door, paying for the market all
There
night.
was also no
And
social
now,
media back then.
even with social media, in the social media area, now these girls have gotten bold. They don't care. Okay? I have more girlfriends that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing than I have guy friends could ever do. And I'm like, damn! Like, if y'all doing it, then what do y'all expect these guys to do?
How do you feel about that? Is that true? You agree with that?
I mean, hold on. So
She's not a cheater, but
we gotta take 10 steps back for this conversation. Hold on. And it might be more wine. So
let me go ahead with
all right, so situationships. Okay, why people stay in situationships?
Yeah, why do you stay with people so long?
Why do people stay with other people? It's comfort. It's knowing that at the end of the day, you know, you still know what's going to happen. Me and Scott go toe to toe. I know he'll be all right tomorrow. We're just gonna hash it out. Done. I'll see you tomorrow. It is what it is. See you in 2 weeks. We'll probably have the same fight in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, you become comfortable. You know what the next step is going to be.
Why?
It's not great, but you at least know what's coming.
Right.
Why? The devil.
Why?
It's
Because
the devil
it's
you
easier,
know.
Right. It's at the end of the day.
Like the
if
politics
this
we're
is,
gonna have to face this year, but that's another conversation.
yeah, if this is the one thing that I have control over versus everything else in life, why? It is what it is.
I respect that.
Okay, so like
I do respect that.
If your job sucks, you really are being pushed in 21 different directions. You know, at the end of the day, you come home. Dinner's either on the table or it's not on the table. Do you know what I mean? If it's not on the table, you're gonna hear me bitch because I've been working all day. What did you do? You know, like family. Family is very versatile. Okay? You're suing one person, fighting one another. But I come home and Scott's just that I know what I'm expecting when I come home.
Scott is Scott. At the
I'm either gonna have dinner.
Is this
or I'm
assuming a
not gonna have dinner.
situationship?
We're on situationships,
Okay.
okay? Like why he's like, why do people stay
Right.
in situationships?
Yeah, yeah.
I said, you know, you have other variables outside of this. At the end of the day, I come home, dinner's on the table or it's not.
Do you think in this situation you're talking about you know you're in a situationship? You're like, wow, Scott's great. Scott cooked me dinner, but I'm not gonna.
She
This is
never
not
said
the
once
one.
that Scott was greater cook than this. She said she can control Scott.
I just said
Yeah.
this is the
Knows what to
controllable
expect.
situation. I know what to expect when I come home.
Right.
Where either dinner's on the table or it's not on the
But
table.
do you think you know, like, this is great, but he's not the one?
Absolutely.
So, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
You feel like that's
For
okay.
the time being, it's a situationship. It's a situation we're in because I have other variables outside of the relationship that I can't control. I can go home and control. Dinner's on the table, we're not fighting. Dinner's not on the
Yeah.
table, there's a whole argument.
What if
I mean,
Scott
you need to
thinks
be
he's in a
smart.
relationship and you're in a, you know you're in a situationship?
That sucks to be
Yeah,
him.
that's a big
That's
problem.
Scott's problem,
Yeah.
not her problem.
See, therefore, Scott's smart at that point. Like, he's under, you know. What was the other question? I'm sorry. What
I
was the other
didn't
thing?
know he asked it.
Could
and
I
think
introduce
you
a new
answered.
angle on the same question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, one situationship that is fairly common, at least, or is a well-known example, is the whole, well, we're staying together because we have a kid. And, like, two people
No.
can just hate... No, but, I disagree with it. But you can have two people who just hate each other, but we have a kid together. It's like, yeah, I think everyone will probably be happier if you don't do that.
Right. Why
Or
do
some
this
people
one?
who hate each other who decide to have a kid together, which is
To try to save.
to try
their
to save it.
situation.
Yeah.
Like those are I would argue a whole other angle of situationships.
I mean,
No, and that's all part of it.
But
Like, why
if you
people
look
do
at
those
it,
things?
though, back in the day, people did that. I know somebody whose parents divorced after 45 years of being together.
Yeah. A couple of my friends' parents
Okay,
did that.
they did it
When the
for the
youngest
kids.
was out, it was the rat.
Right.
You know what I mean? They stayed because it was cheaper to keep her.
I-
Whatever you
I
want to
feel
call
like
it.
a lot-
Like,
most people are probably in situationships.
absolutely.
No, I don't think that.
Yeah,
I think
because so
no,
many
I
people
don't
get
believe
divorced,
A
so
lot
that. I
of
think
them.
Okay,
there
so
are
they're
people
either
who
in
are
a
still-
situationship or
It
they're
sounds
single.
like- 'cause
They're
that-
in a
'cause the
situation
single-
in a relationship or they're single.
Maybe half at least, because what do you got, 50%?
Don't. I
divorce rate?
wouldn't even say that because there are some people that are still in love. There are people that still love. I see
I
couples
think I
all
love
the
my
time.
wife.
You better know. This
You
is
better
gonna
sign
be
that release
posted.
form if you're saying
You know what I'm
that.
saying? Like, you think you love her. No, you love your wife. And it's what it is. I don't think that a lot of people are in it because, like, I do traditionally, like, going back to tradition, I do traditionally want to be married, have a couple of kids, go on vacations, spend time with their family because I don't even like 90% of mine and they know who they are, and the whole nine, you know, but I'm not going to settle. And once I get married, I don't believe in divorces. I believe in funerals. So take it how you love it.
So-
and I will
so-
let my spouse know. Our second date needs to be at a graveyard. Because this is where you're going to end up if you play with me, and I'm just.
Do you feel like you're holding out for that one relationship so that you can have this long-lasting relationship and not a relationship? You're holding off for that one.
No, I'm just waiting for my guy. Let me tell you something. My inbox, 99% of my inbox is then flooded by married people, and it's not me.
You're talking about your email.
I'm talking about my text messages,
Maybe
my
they're in
DMs, the whole nine.
situationships. Maybe they're in situationships and they
Their
want
wives
to
are doing this, they're doing this, they're doing that, and it's just like.
Did you ever ask them why they're reaching out to you?
Am I asking? No, I already know why they were reaching out to me.
Right, but why are they still in the relationship that they're in?
Because of the kids, because it's cheaper to keep her, because that's what society wants. I've heard it all. And the ones that kill me is the ones like, oh, you went to college with, or this happened or that happened. And you're like, this could have happened before you got married and had children, right? Like, don't come after me now. I don't want you. Now, would I date someone who was in a relationship that was like going forward and they were open? Absolutely. I would date a girl and a guy. I would absolutely have a husband and a wife. We could have the 5 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, one for each, and a couple for the kids, and keep it moving. It is what it is. It's 2024. Nothing is impossible at this point, except for this election that's coming up. I don't know what we're gonna do with that. But other than that, it is what it is. Like, I used to have a 5-year plan. I never wanted to be in a situationship. Okay, and I told this to a few coworkers back in like 2016, I think the election was. They were like, "Well, what's your plan?" I said, "Okay, 3 years of dating, get engaged, live together for a year. That works out because you don't know anybody till you live with them, right?"
Yeah.
A year.
You would get engaged before living with them?
No, it would happen at the same time, pretty much. If that year worked out, plan the wedding, so on year 5 we would be married. Now it's 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. I'm older. Life is short. I know what I want. I know I don't want somebody who leaves the freaking toothpaste spit in the sink. That is a no-no.
But is that trainable?
That's absolutely. And it's an automatic, you're X'd out.
But so you wouldn't even say.
I don't at least say it bothers you
right,
first,
Scott,
and if they do it a second time.
Because if you've been doing it for, how old are you, Scott?
I'm 27.
You're a baby. But anyway,
Okay.
but if you've been doing it 27 years, what makes me think I'm going to come in and change you now?
Because the person before him might have said something.
No. Again, if the person before him said something, he wouldn't be doing it, right? Okay, just like cats. Once a person says they have a cat, or they have a cat in their profile picture, that's a no-go. No offense to cat lovers. It's a wrap. I'm not going on a date with you.
I used to be a no-cat person.
Yeah, I'm good.
My wife made me a cat.
And I have a friend.
She showed me a nice cat.
Right,
like,
so he could change and put the
one of
lid
my
on
favorite
and wash the sink
couples
out.
was like that. He was allergic. He was scared. And now that's his baby. And I'm saying, that will never be me. Put me in a room with a tiger or a lion, we're good. A house cat, we're not happening. That's off limits. That's a no-go. Sorry, done. I am too old to be getting into situationships. Sorry, not happening.
Okay, but look, both of them just mentioned something about how any type of relationship, even this is why I think about situationships or any type of relationships, is that even if they didn't last, it taught me something. It made me change something. Even if it could be something as simple as, oh, now I floss because the girl I was just with was like, ew, you don't floss every day? And now I'm flossing. I didn't know I was
all right, pretty woman.
Hey, Javan, when did you start flossing?
You're not wrong about that, though.
I know. I agree with that.
There's like something Steve Harvey says, like, a man will change for the right woman. Or right man, or right partner, whatever.
Will they though? Will they?
But will they?
Okay,
Right.
I'm going to ask you a
100%.
question, because you probably know me the best out of this room.
Jesus,
Name one flaw that you think I have I could change, and I'll tell you if it was the person I'm like in love with right now.
I feel like I know you well enough to know you are who you are. You're not changing for anyone.
That's not what you just said, though.
Period. No, that's not what I said. I said Steve Harvey said.
But give me a flaw, and I will tell you if I have someone in mind. If he said this has to change, or I'm done.
No, but there's a difference between willing to change and no. Like, all right, I'm allergic to cats. There are people who are not. There are people who love cats. I have friends that have cats. Guess what? After hives, scratching, tons of allergy medicine, 15 years later, I grew out of my cat allergy. Do I still like cats? We're a distance. Okay? But it started with an allergy as to why I couldn't have cats. Now, if I was with someone, my significant other wanted a cat, that's like 50-50.
But it's not off the table.
It's not off the table, but it's a 50-50 because I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of like, listen, I feel like dogs can only go so far. You know, they can get on the bed, lay on the floor, get on the sofa. A cat can get anywhere. I've seen cats on like kitchen counters.
Yep, nope, not doing
like,
it. No.
For me, that's a no. Like I can't do it. And then you're gonna get on my pillow? The hell with that.
After being in the litter box.
But even then, dogs do the same thing though. After they
poop,
don't they like dig the whole thing? I mean, I don't have animals to know that, but don't some of them dig?
They at least get mud on it.
Right, so like it's the same concept, but I feel like cats do get on the counters, and like then I just draw a fine line, and I don't know why.
Does this fall into the whole situationship where it's just like these are the things you compromise?
It's 50-50. I wouldn't want it, but I'm not going to say a hard no. Can we train the cat to stay off the counter? Then we can negotiate.
Right.
If not, cat's out.
But for the right person, you'd be willing to negotiate that stuff.
Yeah.
Or is the right person the person who doesn't like cats just as much as you?
No, listen, I don't mind somebody who is an animal lover. But there's a fine line. Like, we're not saving the half-dead raccoon on the road. Like, we're not turning around to pick this up on 95 and try to bring it back to life.
This is New York. I don't know what that is.
Okay, whatever.
What do you mean?
The Verrazano Bridge. Whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, we're not pulling over to save this animal. Like, you can be an animal person. We can rescue a stray dog. But, like, I'm not pulling
Half
over
road
for
killed
that
now.
shit. Right, like a turtle crossing road, we'll stop, let the turtle cross, but we're not taking it to the zoo.
Right.
There's that, you know what I mean? There is a compromise and then there's not. Then there's just like a hard no. I feel like Reggie is a
hard no.
Hard no.
Okay,
like,
I'll ask you because you're the second person.
She's right.
How I show up in the world. What is name a flaw that you think I have, and I'll tell you.
She
said
it right.
Like it doesn't matter though, but you're not willing to change. You're not going to compromise.
That is not
okay.
Regardless
I will answer your question.
On the cat thing, no, that's not.
I will give an answer to your question. No, I don't like it when you wear shoes inside the house. Would you be willing to give that up?
Yes, absolutely. Normally, I wouldn't have shoes on.
Mind you,
but I was
got
told,
booties on though, right?
He does.
Okay,
but
so he didn't compromise. He put booties on instead of taking off his shoes.
Javan gave him the choice.
Right. He gave him an option.
But the last time I was here, what did I do?
There was no option.
He took off his shoes.
My shoes were off.
Right. So why didn't you take off your shoes
because
now?
he told me to dress a certain way, and this is part of my outfit, and I wasn't.
I'm sorry. We all have socks on. We all are dressed. I mean, does your
not
shit
my
not
problem.
match? Do you not have socks on?
Yeah, no, they match, and I complied. If he had said, "Take your shoes off," the shoes would be off.
So here's the thing: knowing this is not the first time you've come to his house. He does not want shoes on.
But I also know that he uses the booty option.
But knowing that he doesn't want that, why do you still do it?
Oh my God, you're not hearing me.
I'm asking you.
And I've told you.
No.
Because I do know how he is.
Leave the booties, but what if he doesn't have booties?
Which is why I knew that the booties were coming. And then the shoes would be off. But in this situation, he brought me a bag of booties.
There's
gave
a
me
compromise,
3 actually.
then there's not.
Yep.
But I was still willing to compromise.
I think he needs to get into more situations.
And if he said, Reg, I want your shoes off, my shoes would have come off.
You need to try out more situationships.
I don't think so.
To practice, even if nothing else, to practice.
Okay.
I am a.
Let me ask you something. What is this flaw that you think you have?
I'm asking you because you know me so much.
You're not going to change. You are who you are.
You know me so much, so
your ways.
And as you get older, it's even going to get more solidified. By the way,
right?
Give me a flaw. You too.
We both said the same. We both said the same thing.
We have what?
Right.
8
we
years?
both said the same thing. They're uncompromising.
We have 22 years? 23 years?
So 20-some odd years and 8 years, and we both said you're not going to compromise. What does that say?
Right.
Okay, I can give you a flaw.
About me? I didn't ask for a flaw about me.
But I asked you for one about me. You're like, you're not going to change.
I did not ask for a flaw about me. I know I have my flaws, and I know I'm set in certain ways.
Because they got guys who are being situationships with.
No.
Everything would drop. And they got something like, boy, go sit down somewhere. I'm not doing this dumb shit with you.
Listen, I know my boundaries. I know my limits. I know my flaws.
Drink your wine.
Okay.
Next question.
So we're not going down my road.
Justin's probably in a situationship now.
Yeah, right now.
Right here, right? Are you regretting the situation that you're in?
This is a situation. No,
I was told I should move on.
No, but I think so. There was this point that someone brought up about soulmates. Like, I don't know if that's logistically possible. Like, how many people there are in the universe or on the world, right? Like 8 billion people. You're not gonna find one person in that population that is your perfect match. I think you grow with the person and you become a perfect match. So maybe situationships is just how it starts. No, not practice. It's just how it starts, right?
Soulmates. Okay, but is it technically a significant other or your best friend?
I would side with best friend is about as close as you can get to soulmate.
Could he be your soulmate and your wife not be your soulmate?
My best friend.
I would say if my wife isn't my soulmate, I have made a mistake. And I would say that my wife is my soulmate because I have two best friends. No, I was just saying I have two best friends. One I'm married to, one I'm not. But that's the thing. I get along with them in a way as like equally good, as in the sense that like you can hang out with one of the boys and have a good time and be rowdy and make jokes and play games and do this. I can do all of that with my wife. We play a lot of the same games. We watch a lot of the same shows. We enjoy the same sense of humor, and also there's just the more stereotypical romantic aspect. Like I know couples where it's like, oh, he's talking about work. All right, I don't care. Blah blah. Like me and my wife, we went to school for the same subjects and everything. Like I can talk to her about work and have an in-depth discussion about even that, and we could just go shopping, talk about whatever, and like I would say like it's about as close as soulmates probably get.
That's the one interesting thing is I'm surprised you're saying that. You're saying that if you didn't marry, so you believe your wife is your soulmate.
Yes, or at least as close to what I've seen.
Wow, yeah, you're a very logical person. I didn't even think you believed in that concept.
If there is soulmates, I would say what me and my wife have is about as close to what it could be. Because like the ideal of everything perfectly matches up to the point where it might
but you
weird.
said you made a mistake. If she wasn't your soulmate, you made a mistake, meaning that you believe you should only marry a soulmate.
To an extent, yes.
Yeah, no.
Actually,
honestly,
because anything.
What if we live multiple lives and maybe some lives you're with your soulmate, some lives you're not with your soulmate? Who cares?
You mean as in like now, like having 3 personalities living person?
Maybe in this life, maybe I have a soulmate, but in this life we're not going to be together.
Well, the next life, she's not. The person's probably not your soulmate. In the next life, you're not going to come back as Javan.
But if we live a million, bajillion lives,
never even meet in another lifetime.
Right.
You know, this is a question I've seriously thought about, and maybe I should have put it in the basket as a question. I've thought about like the college I went to, right, and the people that I've met. And I thought about how different my life would be if I hadn't went to that college. What would have happened, this, that, and that. I almost went to school in London. And I'm like, I can think about maybe 5 people that I would have still wanted to meet if my life didn't go the way it went. And there are 5 people, and I'm not going to say any names because I don't want anybody to be offended in this, that, and the other. But I can think about those 5, and I think about those 5 because of the different relationships we have, the kind of relationship we have, and it's a mixture of guys and girls. And there are some people I may love them with all my heart right now. If something happened to them, I'd be upset, but I could have went without ever meeting them ever in life, and I'd have been okay with that. So when you said that, I agree with you. Yes, you should choose your soulmate to an extent. And like with the whole, what I wanted to ask you was when you said about the job thing, right? Do you think that's fair if you don't have the same background that couples that don't talk about jobs? I think that's kind of selfish, right?
So
because your spouse wants to talk to you about their day.
Oh, so like, what is it? When prepping for an interview for my current job, actually, I found it a very interesting question because I was like, oh wait, this is actually a math question. Me and Nicole are both good at math, and I just talked to her, and we spent an hour just talking about it because it was fun to talk about. Like,
is that camera on?
Yeah.
The one in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
They're all on.
Yeah, but like I was saying, we have fun talk, and mind you, I usually preface myself with like, by the way, if you don't want to talk work, like we don't have to, that's fine. But like I say, like I can talk about the fair specifics, not the nitty gritty, because then it's like, okay, I don't know what you were doing at this moment, but like as close to that as possible. Like, oh yeah, I was working on this, blah blah blah, API calls, this and that, and she's like, oh okay, blah blah blah, and she'll ask meaningful questions about that. And we can have like a fun discussion about that even. But could just partly be luck. But even then, I would say like they're like a couple I know whose names I will not say, but like they don't have the same work interests. When one talks shop, he's an engineer like me. I can talk shop with him, and we have a good time talking about that. She loses interest,
Right.
and then she'll talk to my wife and be like, "Oh, can you believe like they're talking about this?" And my wife's like, "Well, I don't know. I also like that, so I can't relate." and mind you, like they get along well, but it's just one of those, like, that's why it's a good point. Like in my case, I would say maybe that's just luck, maybe that is tied to the soulmate, but that's also why I say soulmates within reason.
You know,
if that makes sense.
You want to know,
that.
As you're saying that, I actually think about your brother's wedding speech.
Mm-hmm.
His brother. So I've been to plenty of weddings. And I've heard wedding speeches before, but I think his brother's wedding speech was the only speech I remember out of all wedding speeches I've been out to.
Were you drunk, sober?
I
Does
was,
that count?
that was
Like,
probably
I mean,
one-
like, does it count in the range
it,
of
No.
what speech
it count.
What
I'll
is
tell
it
you
a
why it
speech
counts.
you'll remember?
No, here's the reason why. It wasn't a good speech, but it was the shortest wedding speech I've ever heard. I was like, that's it? That's what you're going to say? But
Hold on,
I remember it.
What was
2
the
minutes,
speech?
let's get it
All right,
done.
all right, what
remember.
was the speech that you remember?
He said, one time I was eating breakfast with Scott and Nicole, and Scott was he was making a cheese sandwich.
Yep.
He was making a grilled cheese sandwich. And Scott said to Nicole,
Which one do you want? Like I was making two. I was like, which one do you want? But they're two grilled cheeses that are exactly identical.
exactly identical grilled cheese. Which one do you want? She was like, that one.
Happiest thing I've ever
And
heard.
he said,
Right?
and that's when I knew they were meant for each other.
Because she actually answered the question. Like that thing. Like because she knows. Like yeah, just like yeah, I want that one.
So it's like everybody's looking at you like, what? But when he said that just now, it just clicked in my head. Like, wow, okay, maybe that's what a relationship was about.
But it's the simple things.
The simple things.
It is the simple
The
things.
cheese sandwich.
What is up with you and not being in a? Are you in a situationship right now?
I'm out of situation.
You want to be married. You want kids, but you're at the same time.
I
you're
want
afraid
kids,
of
but
the
I don't know
stuff.
if I want to be married.
You're afraid of the stuff that's going to happen.
What? It's not traditional anymore. You could have kids and not be
Exactly.
married.
You can have a surrogate.
Right.
You can have a hot young, whatever,
Right.
whatever.
Which is great.
Because you're getting up there, so you need a little bit younger. Carry those boys around or whatever you're going to have.
Yeah, but that's different than a situationship.
No, that's definitely a situationship if you're not married and having kids with someone.
I guess.
Unless it's a hired surrogate. Oh, they're definitely in a situationship.
Okay.
Don't go there.
Hold up. So if he wants to have kids but doesn't get married, that becomes a situationship?
It can be.
He's saying, I guess,
Okay.
if I'm with a girl who...
But
See,
what
he
if
doesn't
you
want to
get
get
married?
because he doesn't
Huh?
want to get married because of the
What if-
financial aspect of what
No,
can
no,
happen.
it's
What if
not
she
just
doesn't
the
wanna get
financial
married?
aspect. It has to do with the logistics of it also. And like, if I have kids, and then if we get divorced,
Let me ask you a
Okay.
question.
kids,
Exactly.
It's like
Could you get married without a prenup?
I would not get married.
So
without a
you don't want to get married because of the financial. He's afraid of what's going to happen. He's afraid
I don't
that
want to
he's
get
going to end up in
married
that
because of
50%.
the
Okay, what if-
situationship of
hold on.
the way things
What
are
if
set
she
up now.
brought
50%.
more money in than you did?
Ooh.
It's not just about
Would
the
you
money.
st- but-
It's not
but
about the money.
what if
it's
it
about
is?
the no.
Yeah, let's say she's
You-
worth like $1
If
billion.
she came in
It's-
with more money than
and no
you,
prenup.
would you
It's
still
not
want
about
a
the
prenup?
No, yes, I
I-
would still want the prenup because of the kids. Because of the kids.
Why? What about the kids?
Because I want to ensure that, first of all, like you always say, if we're going to get married, I want to make sure we're not getting divorced. So if
You're
that
terrible.
means
There's
that,
a difference
that
of
means the prenup gotta
not
be
wanting to
like
get divorced
we can't get divorced.
and not getting divorced. Like, listen, I don't want to get divorced.
Yeah.
I'm not getting divorced. It's a statement. It's
Funeral.
not happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Like, it.
It's graveyard, second date.
Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, but you don't go into a marriage relationship thinking, all right, what's the end
What's
date?
going to happen? Exactly.
So if this ends, we're not gonna do this. Like, I'm not gonna put your name on the house that we
Bought.
financially went in together, because what happened?
Well, she's a damn fool.
See, I don't care about all that. I don't care about all that. The financial aspect is not really important. The important thing is that if we're gonna get married, forget about kids for a second.
Yeah.
If we're gonna get married, and then we're making a commitment, and we're not getting divorced. So the system.
Stop.
Hold
Forget
on,
about
no.
the system, though. If
Yeah,
you
you
but,
have to
but,
talk
this,
about
but
the
this is the
logistics.
No,
reason.
but listen, though.
I can't forget
okay,
about the system because this is my reason.
No, but if you found someone who said yes to getting married and shared the same values as you did, okay? We're in it together. We're going to try to make it work. If it comes to a breaking point, we're still going to make the effort to try to make it work. If it gets to that point where there's no fixing.
If it gets that,
okay,
if it
then
gets
that's
that,
but you go into a relationship, a marriage, a commitment, whatever you want to call it, because you want to be with that person wants to be with you. So we want to make it work. We're going to try everything to make it work.
Okay.
So you're already saying, well, we're already at the exit. Like, you're ahead of the point then where you actually, like, when you get in with somebody, you either know them or you don't know them. Soulmate.